Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our program today. It's going to be another one that's going to think, well, maybe I need to go take Valiums, but you do not. I've never seen God move like He's moving now, and He literally is sending His angels to do battle for us. But what we have got to do, and what God has really called me to do, like no other time in my life, is to make sure that born-again believers, especially evangelical Christians who believe in this book, understand and realize that for the first time, I think in the history of America, you must know that you matter. And how did we get to the place that we've come to as a nation? The twisted thinking, the evildoers, the takeover of our nation, our lives, our government, our schools, our children, with churches on every corner, Christian television 24/7, prophets everywhere. How have we come to this place of denial of the living God and allowing, especially women, who have one purpose in mind, and that is to mock God, be in control of our lives when our God reigns? Today is going to be an unbelievable program, and I'm going to convince you without a shadow of a doubt that we are more than they, and you matter. I'll be right back. Go call your friends, tell them Faye is on. They need to go right now and turn on their television, their televisions. And if they do not get this program, you can tell them that they can get it on YouTube, Insight USA, YouTube, or they can go to my website, insightUSA.us, and it is streaming. But don't miss what I'm about to tell you. I am Faye Hardin, and this is Well, welcome back. We're so happy you're with us, and we want to welcome all of our new viewers, our new partners, and the new prayer warriors that are joining us weekly on our Saturday free conferencing, prayer, and briefing call with me live every Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. We have a 2-hour prayer meeting with intercessors from across America. Intercessors who understand how to pray, what to pray for, what to pray against. They understand the issues of the day and the spiritual context of what we're experiencing that week in the spirit, coming from the powers of the occult being unleashed on this nation like nothing you have ever experienced in the history of this nation. I tell you every week, I tell my intercessors that pray with me on a weekly basis in prayer teams across America, that our nation is not in a political power struggle. We are not in a debate. We are in a spiritual battle. Well, so many intercessors have joined me in this ministry. And what I do, and the only thing that we do as a ministry, is pray for America. Everything else we do, like our television program, is an outreach from the intercessors who have united with me over the years to pray for America. Each year, God would give us a different topic, and it was unlike anything else on the Christian calendar. But they understood, and they saw so many answers to the prayers that I brought forth for this country, because the revelation knowledge of the Lord of what was going on in this country that was occult driven. Compromise in the church is deadly and, believe me, dangerous. It's that compromise that's brought the mainstream America into a twisted, evil thinking like nothing we have ever experienced as a nation. So I've got new people joining me, and I just thank you for being there. I want you to know that you matter. And I want you to know that everything the devil throws at you is to convince you that you don't matter. He will go into the pit of hell to cause you to have pain, disappointment, disillusion, unexpected travesties, and to come back and think, well, people are going to say, where's my God? I've been telling everybody I serve a living God. Well, if I'm going through this, God couldn't be with me. I've even had people that ask me, why would God allow these things to happen in our country? Well, God allows us to have a free mind and a free choice. And we get what we ask for. And as a nation, we've had years and years and years that the Christians have stayed isolated, don't offend anybody, just stay out of everybody's way, don't have anything to do with the government, because the government is something that's not biblically acceptable. Well, everything in the Bible is politics. David was a king. Jesus is coming back as a king. He says he's carrying government on his shoulders. How in the world we got to the place of compromise with leaders accepting the lies of the atheists and liberals, that our nation's history has literally is extinct. The actual truth, it has been so perverted, rewritten, and our kids have no clue where America came from. They don't know the bloodshed that gave them the freedom, that gives them the freedom to go out and join mobs and curse our president. Well, just saying that won't change a thing. So I've prayed so long, God, please call Joyce Meyer. She's rich, Lord. She reaches the whole world. And she's so anointed, God. Please show Joyce Meyer what you're showing me. T.D. Jakes, I said, Lord, this man reaches the masses. Lordy mercy, the best-selling books. And if he would just see what I see, and he would tell the people, look, this is what we're dealing with. The facts are not being told about Obamacare. If you really knew what was in Obamacare, there would be a revolution in this country. But the key is deception. Don't tell America what is in these bills that have been passed to eliminate God and Christianity from our country. And I could name 4 or 5 more that I just said, Lord, Lord, and I would be on my knees crying, God, I'm seeing the truth. Our little ministry they're doing all they can do. My partners give to the limit. And I keep saying, more people, will you come and join me? Will you unite with me? I'm telling you the truth, and you know I'm telling you the truth. And thousands of people know I'm telling you the truth, but they don't see that as a significant issue when it comes to their giving. I used to raise one year I raised over $1 million for Israel to bring Jewish people out of the land of the north. My ministry was so effective. And I had 6,000 people on my mailing list from Florida. I covered the giving to Israel and a massive television bill cost. Daily production, daily time, 2 or 3 different stations, maybe 4 across the state of Florida. And my name in the state for a while was a household word, and I was one of the few people that said we've got to build bridges between Christians and Jews, and I actually launched that ministry in this country. And when God told me I was to come back to raise up prayer teams for America, those 6,000 came down to about 350. The people who wanted to bless Israel, all Floridians, all Christians. even though I did have wonderful relationships with the Jews in the States and some of the highest organizations in the state of Florida, in the United States. My TV show was used for guests from Israel to tell Christians the truth. And it dwindled to 350 people. I lost everything. And I said, what is this? You've got the masses. I believe we should bless Israel. I believe we should love Israel. But the fact that the church had lost the vision for this country, and this was in the late 90s, made me more determined to stay on the wall for America. I had to learn the government. But today I want to share with you, and I want you to come on board with me and learn what makes our government work. I want you to understand that you matter and why you matter. And I want you to know that we're on the precipice of a civil war in this country because we've ignored what is really going on in Washington. Genesis 1:1, if you don't get anything else, you need to understand that God created the heavens and the earth. God created it, not Al Gore and not the liberal radicals that are using the United States Treasury as a slush fund for themselves for a hoax that they made up. In the beginning, and male and female created he them. Talk about the mocking of God. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Hi, just want to give you an update on the outreach of what we're doing, especially in the media. Number one, to combat the wicked women, we are organizing virtuous women. Please contact me and get on board. We are on Facebook, Facebook.com/Faye USA, live weekly with an insider's briefing. YouTube, Insight USA, live briefing weekly. And then insightUSA.us. You can get our information and you can see what you need to do to have a voice. It is time God's people has a voice. Will you support me? Will you join our movement to combat what the witches are doing in this nation now? Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm so happy that you've joined us today. I hope you've gotten all your friends to tune in because we have 3 issues, and each one of them could have their own program, but we don't have time. And because of it's dated information, basically, that's going on in Washington, D.C. But what I'm trying to do through our program and through our intercessors network is to enable Christians, number one, to know that you matter, but number two, what to do with what is happening now to bring direct change. So what we are doing through every avenue possible to us is to educate Christians how to get started in letting your voice be heard. The first thing that we are doing is letting you know that you need to know how your government works. You don't. I'm going to tell you. We have been since 1945. We were told there's a separation of God and country, a separation of Christians, not church, not Islam, not religion, not the atheists, not the witches. There's a separation of God and country by atheist lawyers that created that lie, incorporated it into our Constitution, which it does not exist, and made it law. How did they do that? Because the people of God were ignorant of the devices of the enemy, and they've let that lie live. That must change. That's one of the founding issues that we must believe God to be reversed. And I've been talking about that for maybe 2 to 3 years, even praying for Judge Roy Moore to be appointed to the Supreme Court because he would reverse that lie. And we're still praying that prayer. Okay, so what do we do now? That hasn't happened yet. The Supreme Court is made up of atheists, liberal liars, and they mock God. In fact, they say God has no place in the public square. Well, where does he go during that time? How did they become the voice of the judiciary of our land? The Christians. The Christians were minding their own business and allowing the devil to do whatever he wanted to do. We can't do that anymore. I've asked you over and over again to get the congressional directory. Our intercessors have it. It's mandatory for our teams, our team leaders to understand who is governing this nation. And I want you to get it for a $125 donation to help us go forward with our ministry. If you request it, we want to send it to you. This little directory has the name, has the photographs, it has the addresses, it has the positions, the administration, the president, his cabinet. It has every governor's photograph, and their addresses, their emails. It has every congressman, senator, and also the committees they serve on. This is so important because you can't communicate with the people we've elected to office if you don't know how. You could say, well, I could call them or write them a letter. If you don't know their address, you can't. And 9 times out of 10, if you have no idea how to get in touch with them, you won't do anything but just wish, hope. So for $125, help me stay on the air. Help me do what we're doing to expose and destroy the works of the devil in our government. You could just write me today and say, Faye, I want the congressional directory. And you could do more than $125. Whatever God has blessed you with, we're believing God for $1 million. It's going to take that to combat the lies of the evil empire of the wicked women, their axis of evil that's led not by Hillary Clinton, but by this lady right here. She's a Muslim, a Palestinian from Hawaii that led 5 million women in Washington, D.C. After the inauguration, and she has since, her family in Israel are in prison because they're terrorists. She's an offshoot from the terrorist family, and she's been recognized by the Democrat Party, and she just called jihad for the President of the United States a couple of weeks ago, and our Attorney General has said nothing. Nothing. Where does she come from? She comes from the other triangle of the axis of evil of wicked women. She comes from the mandate of the witches that have organized and are having rituals live on social media once a month on the unholy day of Islam every month. And she's got Hillary Clinton, who is now selling her T-shirts of the nasty women, black T-shirts. Hell, I've shown you that picture before. What are we doing, evangelical women? What are we doing? What is our government doing? It is a circus right now in Washington, D.C. I've never seen anything so pathetic. But I'm glad it's pathetic because the masks are coming off. 29 million people elected President Trump to the White House. 69 million of us. 29 million were conservative women. This crowd of wicked women the witches, the nasty women, and this woman who's leading the charge of jihad in our streets. Ignore the fact that 29 million of us do not believe what they believe. We do not want blood in our streets. We do not want them in our college and using our children as captive audiences anymore. So what is going to change that? Number one, prayer. We have got the prayer team that can change it. What's happening now? We have to understand that the majority of the Republicans that we elected to office do not believe the platform of the Republican Party. They have been wearing masks. We have 7 that literally are liars. They have lied to the American people. They just refused to vote, or actually they voted against the full repeal of Obamacare. I have their pictures. And there's 3 of them that are nasty women. 4 of them are senators that have lied to us. And what we need is to let them know our voice must be heard. Susan Collins and Rob Portman, and they go on and on. You can get this information when you get my weekly Phase Facts. I'll tell you in just a minute. But what do we do with these traitors? If America knew what was in Obamacare, there would be a revolution. I know what's in it. I know they took control of our health care. I know there's a database with every visit. I just left a cardiologist appointment this morning. The first thing you see is a computer in the corner. And every communication you have with your doctors or their staff, they don't talk to you anymore. It goes in to a database, shoots to Washington, D.C. They know more about my medical care before I get home than my doctor does, because he's got a study lab work and everything else. It's none of their business. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and the conglomeration of moderates, which are nothing more than Democrat Obamacare masquerade as Republicans. I'm going to tell you in just a minute how we drain the swamp. And we must do it. And we must know how to do it before the next election. But we've got to tell the traitors that we've elected to the United States Senate and Congress as Republicans, you do not control our health care anymore. We are not socialists. Hi, I just want to thank you for supporting 2016 with us. We have had some awesome prayer summits in 3 cities, in 3 states, Redeeming the Land and Avenging the Blood of the Innocent. We have met some of the most powerful professionals that do have the information on our country that you need to hear. And we want you to know that God is blessing our program. You can now download the GEB app on your cell phone, on your tablet, or on Roku. And DirecTV now is offering programs on your phone apps. So check it out. Help us get the word out. And then our YouTube also airs our program. Well, our time is gone again, and I'm so sorry it just flies by. But before we go off, I need for you to understand that we are on the precipice of a civil war, and we have got a circus in Washington, D.C. We know the Democrats, what they believe. They're believing to push America under the guise of the United Nations and communism. That's all they talk about. That's all they want. But we can vote them out of office. They do not have to remain there. but the Republicans that have lied to us. They are working against the president that we elected. I've never seen Paul Ryan so disgusting. Everything he does, he comes out with his sophistication, intimidation. Like, you know, we don't have to represent the president. Robert Mueller is not the president's lawyer. We all know that. But what crime has President Trump committed that brought a $100 million Robert Mueller special counsel into play? That there is none. But the Republicans in office, they know President Trump is going to stop their slush funds and their money laundering through federal agencies and federal contractors. That's nothing but tax dollars going back into their coffers, and they need to come clean with it. We're going to tell the truth, and we're going to get the 29 million women that voted for Donald Trump an avenue to have a voice. I'm working on that every day as fast as possible. But I need for you to unite with me. Our women's movement, the Virtuous Woman, is being launched right now. The t-shirts are beautiful. I don't know if I'll have one for this program, but I will soon. That you go on the internet and you sign up and say, Faye, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to share. I'm going to help you organize millions of virtuous women that's going to combat the lies of the witches, that's empowering the Muslim women and Hillary Clinton, that actually are calling jihad to our streets. And what they're doing is the organizing for anarchy is already in place. Believe me, President Obama has organized America for jihad, a civil war in our streets. Our Attorney General is doing nothing about it. He's doing nothing that we have a $100 million special counsel trying to create a crime. He's not letting him go. The Deputy Attorney General, an Obamanite, appointed the special counsel in $100 million, and he's got the majority of Republicans that we've elected with him. We can change that. We have to unite.
Faye wants to hear from you. Her desire to see America come out of exile is raising up one of the most powerful, informed, anointed, and united prayer networks in America for America. She is organizing Christians for the U.S. Constitution to give uncompromising believers back their voice and witness. If this program has blessed you and you believe in what Faye is doing, contact her, pray with and for her, partner with her. She would love for you to host an Insight rally in your church or city. Organize an Intercessors with Insight prayer team or join one. For a complimentary pocket-sized constitution or Faye's fax, call or email Faye 407-265-0700 or faye.usainsight@gmail.com. Write Insight USA, P.O. Box 917689, Longwood, Florida 32791.